It's a city of neighborhoods, like a series of villages separated by so much green space. But Johannesburg, the largest city in South Africa, is actually huge. If you think about the metro area, there's about 14 million people there. Local people often call it Jozi, Jozi. And when you come to this city, you'll find shopping and upscale hotels. You'll find walkable and stylish areas. You'll find an urban area that has cafes and vintage shops and many other things. We're going to talk about all of this today. And then the best part, go to Joburg, see a few things, and then you can just drive to Safari just nearby. So today we're talking about Jozi, Joburg, Johannesburg. How you doing, David?
I'm doing great. And yeah, Johannesburg was kind of our gateway into Africa, the first place we touched down, which is probably the case for a lot of people. I would think traveling over to Africa for the first time, that it is kind of a major gateway in. And as you say, kind of a jumping off point to then go explore the safaris and everything else you can do throughout the country.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely the biggest gateway internationally. I know that last time I was there were international flights from direct flights from New York City and from Atlanta. I flew from Atlanta. And often, I mean, the kind of unfortunate part is that often people will fly to Johannesburg and they won't leave the airport, right? They'll just hop onto a flight to Kruger or Sabi Sands or somewhere else in the country to go on safari. But Johannesburg really is worth the stay, even if you stay 2 or 3 nights. What was your impression of the city?
Well, that was exactly our experience, and it's interesting you say that, because I think one of the questions I think people sometimes have traveling there is around safety, and
Mhm.
we have some
Sure.
South African neighbors, and they actually recommended against spending any time in Johannesburg. Their view was it's not a place you want to spend a lot of time, but we really felt, given the history and the importance of all that's happened there, it was a place that we at least wanted to spend a couple of nights, and I'm really glad we did. But I've got to say, I can see what some of their concerns were on safety as well. I mean, I do think it's a place you have to be aware of where you are in the city and what you're doing. But there is certainly and you do feel the weight of South Africa's recent history when you were there. But there is a lot to see and do for sure.
Yeah, I think it really. I mean, I've probably been to Johannesburg at least 10 times, maybe 12 times. And it's definitely a destination that requires a little bit of planning, right? You just have to kind of know where you're going to be at a certain time of day and just plan for it. And with a little bit of planning, it's definitely a destination that has tons and tons to offer. So, do you want to start out with, and a big part of it is that the city has many, many interesting upscale, beautiful hotels, and I've stayed in probably 6 or 8 different hotels in the city. Do you have a favorite as we dive in?
Yeah, we stayed in kind of quite a really nice district, actually, very walkable, sort of filled with restaurants. An area called Melrose Arch, which I imagine you've probably come across on your travels as well. Lots of great restaurants and stuff there. We stayed at the Marriott there, which had a few standout features. I mean, they had one of the Marriott M Club lounges, which if you're a Marriott member, has like huge breakfasts and dinner and things there that were included. A great pool area, and then they also had padel, which is kind of like sort of like pickleball, but a little bit mixed between pickleball and racquetball. They had this huge padel club right behind the hotel, which was a great spot and something fun that we'd never done before. I got to try out while we were there as well. So that was one of the things that jumped to mind from our stay there. But you have experienced a lot more of the hotels throughout the city.
Yeah, I kind of had to pick and choose and leave a couple off the list because I've got 4 here. And these are, yeah, 4. I mean, the first 3 are definitely standouts. The fourth is just kind of it's got a special place in my heart. But the first I'm going to talk about is Leonardo, which is the tallest hotel in the country. It's 55 floors. It's one of the tallest, if not the tallest building in the country. Um, the coolest part, I think, is that it was set to be a condo complex. I think that was the original plan. So even the entry level rooms, which are 1-bedroom suites, are huge, and they've got full kitchens. So you've got, this beautiful view from whatever floor you're on, 48 or 50 or whatever, and then you've got this huge room to relax in, and then the rooftop lounge is next level, no pun intended. And I remember going there with a friend, and we were all in the rooftop lounge, 55 floors up, and there was a helicopter going by and it was below us. The helicopter was lower than us. So really, really, a cool hotel. And they had the only one that I've ever seen, a champagne vending machine. So keep your coins, everybody.
There you go.
I don't know if it was Veuve Clicquot or whatever it was, Cristal or whatever, but it was a beautiful thing. The Houghton Hotel, I want to mention. I'm just going to reel them off here. It's in a Houghton Estate, which is a very leafy neighborhood, jacaranda trees, big, beautiful rooms. And the hotel itself encloses a green space that includes a pool, um, and just it feels like a little retreat within the city. I mean, we both know that Johannesburg can be a very busy, sometimes harried, sometimes stressful city. Houghton Hotel feels like a little retreat within the city. Can't let this pass without mentioning the Four Seasons. Four Seasons, the West Cliff. Stayed there a few years ago. And again, it's everything that you would expect from Four Seasons. Beautiful rooms. I mean, the service is top notch. I love Four Seasons. But it's up on a hilltop. And the views are out over. You've got all this green space, parks. I mean, Joburg is really surprisingly green. There's a lot of parks. There's a zoo, and this looks out over all of that. And then you see just the high rise, the skyscraper buildings of the downtown just kind of on the horizon. So you almost feel like you're floating above it all, but in a different way than you would be at the Leonardo. And the last one, again, a special place in my heart. I had a very long trip once to South Africa a few years ago, and it was a bit of a hub and spoke trip where I would stay in Joburg, rent a car, drive somewhere, come back to Joburg, drive somewhere else, come back to Joburg. And my home away from home on that trip was Radisson Blu. Again, just a business hotel, but has a solid, nice outdoor patio space. And you can walk to the Sandton city. It's in Sandton City, which is one of the main shopping districts. So you can actually just walk out the front door, walk into the malls. As you said, they're, about safety and stuff in South Africa. You're a block away from the mall. So nice rooms. So I just want to give a shout out also to Radisson Blu. But yeah, want to talk about things to do in the city?
Yeah, for sure. And for us, I would say the what to do was very much focused around some of the historical significance of the city. I mean, we spent a good portion of our time there doing a tour of Soweto, one of the townships that's probably one of the most historically important areas, not just in South Africa, but I mean, it was really the kind of the center of the resistance to the apartheid movement, right? And so you get to see a lot of the history of that and understand, a lot more of the history that has brought South Africa to where it is today by spending some time there. Nelson Mandela's former house is one of the main kind of draws there. Small but powerful museum there in their former family home, and that was definitely a highlight. But I would say, and this would probably be both my can't miss and our best on the things to do. The thing that I found probably the most impactful was some of the time that we spent at the Apartheid Museum, one of the most kind of moving and comprehensive museums that I've ever visited.
Yeah, I'm going to second you. And my can't miss was also the Apartheid Museum. So, it's immersive, it's emotional. Takes you back to that dark era, gives you the background, and it also puts you kind of right in the middle of it. I mean, I think you remember you enter either through the white entrance or the black entrance, and really, really brings it home. You learn about the history, the struggle, the importance, I mean, of Nelson Mandela. I mean, he is really almost sainted in that country, and for very good reason. And so, yeah, so we're talking about our can't miss now. My can't miss was also the Apartheid Museum, which is definitely worthwhile. But I had a few others, on a much lighter note. I am a train guy. I think we've talked about trains, right, on this before. And they have a great train in Johannesburg. If you're coming in, it's just from the airport. If you're flying into OR Tambo, the main airport there, they have something called the How train. Starts with a G, How train, and it's a sleek, high-speed train. gets you into town fast, and it really gives you a great little cross section of the city as you glide into the city. Takes you right to Sandton, where I've talked about Sandton a few times. And then I'll also say shopping at Sandton or in Rosebank, really great upscale shops. Rosebank, to me, almost feels like, and these are two separate neighborhoods, Sandton and Rosebank. Rosebank feels almost like a little village. Like it's almost like a place apart, almost with a main street, a pedestrian street, lots of great shops and cafes and restaurants. I was going to mention Soweto as well, and definitely that is worthwhile to go to the Nelson Mandela House. I think it was the first home where he lived with Winnie Mandela. I believe you can still see bullet holes in the windows and lots of great displays. So Soweto, I agree, is definitely worth it. I'm just going to mention two other things. One is, and again, my pronunciation maybe not on point, but Maboneng, which means place of light. And it's a creative district. They took old warehouses and made them into bookshops and record stores and cafes and vintage shops. They have container apartments, art galleries, really, really an interesting place. And one of the really excellent places, and I will say Johannesburg's maybe not the best city for a really good walk, to walk around. There are a few places, Sandton, Rosebank. I'll say Maboneng is also a great place for a walk to just wander and just kind of choose where you want to spend your time, get a cup of coffee here, get a little bit of lunch there, browse the books there, maybe get a record over there. Really, really good. And then the last recommendation is actually a walking tour with a company called Joburg 360, owned by a local resident, super, super knowledgeable. I believe that the tour that I did with her, it's a few years ago now, was a culinary walking tour. So we visited a number of different coffee shops and restaurants, and really worthwhile because she was very friendly, very knowledgeable, and just a pleasure to be around. And everybody in the group was interesting. And we went to Maboneng, and we went to a couple different districts, and had some great flavors, great history, great culture. Very, very interesting. So we're kind of on that topic now. So David, do you want to talk? I think you had maybe one or two places that you would recommend for eating in
Yeah,
Joburg.
we didn't get to explore nearly as many restaurants in the city as I would like to, and what I really missed, and I'm hoping you might have some good recommendations, is more South African food when we were there, because I mean the place we ate was fantastic. We found a great, really stylish Spanish tapas spot called La Parada, which was in that Melrose Arch district. Which Melrose Arch has a lot of really nice kind of international restaurants, a lot of atmosphere at night. So I would definitely recommend it from that perspective. But what you're not getting and what we missed out on was really that local feel and local perspective. So I know you've spent a lot more time there. So would love to hear some of your favorites. And one thing I'm curious about, Tim, did you ever make it? I'd read about some great markets and stuff in the city that we never made it to. Did you get a chance to make it to any of those?
I will say I also didn't make it there. In Durban, I went to a big public market. I've been to some public markets down at Cape Town. But Johannesburg, I never did make it to a public market, but I definitely have culinary recommendations. So you were talking about South African food. There is a great restaurant in Rosebank called Marble Restaurant. Very upscale, linen tablecloths, fine dining. But the focus is on local South African ingredients, which is, so I mean, they've got everything there, right? They've got livestock and seafood. So they've got steak, seafood, lamb, great wines from within the country. So definitely recommend Marble. A couple others. There's a restaurant I remember going to in Sandton. I spent a lot of time in Sandton in that neighborhood. There's an Italian restaurant called Saint Restaurant. And for me, the focus there was the grill. I mean, they had pasta, they had all that kind of stuff, but probably the best bone marrow I've ever had. Really, really good bone marrow at Saint. Quick shout out for two other places. Uncle Merv's, which is a place that I encountered on that culinary walking tour. Just a local coffee shop, but excellent, excellent coffee. And then there's a place called the Living Room, which is in the neighborhood that's right next to Maboneng. I don't remember the name of the neighborhood, but it's an open air patio in the really the one of the urban core areas of Johannesburg, but the patio, this open air patio, is just up above it all. So I remember that's where we finished the culinary walking tour, and you just felt like after being in the hustle and bustle of the city, you were just up above it all and breathing fresh air, handcrafted cocktails, small plates, really, really a great place to eat. And then one last recommendation is a place called Flames, and this is at the Four Seasons. A great restaurant on its own. Even if you're not staying at the Four Seasons, it's definitely worth going to this restaurant. And the steaks are fantastic. I mean, all the food is fantastic, as you would expect with Four Seasons. But the views, I mean, again, out over all that green space, the city, the urban core of the city just shimmering on the horizon. And yeah, I can't think of a better place to enjoy a nice dinner and just watch, if you go there for an early dinner, watch the light of the day ebb away, the sky turning to purple and then black. I mean, it's just an amazing place. So yeah.
Now I'm going to put you a bit on the spot here as we close it out, because I know we've already talked about our can't miss, but I'm curious. I mean, you've spent a lot more time in South Africa than I have, and I think a lot of people, when you're planning a trip there, you've got one of two gateways, right? And depending on international flights, you're likely either flying in through Johannesburg or you're flying in through Cape Town. If you could only do one of the two, which are you doing?
I'm gonna demur. I'm gonna say both. I mean, it's Cape Town. I mean, Cape Town's an amazing place. It really is an amazing place. But I feel like a lot of the focus goes to Cape Town, and with good reason. I mean, it really is a beautiful, beautiful city. I feel like Johannesburg is a little bit more undiscovered. I think it's a little bit more work. You have to sort of figure out the places that are going to be good, and you have to figure out how to get there, and you have to do a little bit more planning. Cape Town, you go to the waterfront, you go out to the wine regions, everything's right there. But I will say, I mean, I think Joburg is really worthwhile. So I'm gonna demur and say both. Yeah.
Fly in one, fly out the other.
Fly in one, fly out the other. That's the perfect plan. I can't think of a better plan than that.
There you go. All right. Well, great to talk to you as always, Tim, and look forward to catching up again next week. And hopefully, if people are enjoying our content from around the world, they can take a moment, drop us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you're listening to our podcast, and check out all of our podcasts from around the world at voyescape.com.
Perfect. Great chatting with you, David.